So, you want to write some poi choreography, but all you know are beginner tricks. Does that mean it's a hopeless cause that you gotta wait until you get further down that trick tree? No, it does not. As it turns out, you can write a great piece of poi choreography even with the most basic of beginner tricks. It all just depends how exactly you structure that choreography. And I am going to give you the secrets to doing so in this video. Drex here from DrexFactor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can choreograph an amazing combo, even with the most basic of poi tricks. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks go to Dark Monk, Fire Mecca, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Pyroterra Light Toys, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. And just to put a massive thank you out there to Pekka Pekkonen for having supported this channel for so very long. I appreciate you and everything that you've done these past few years. Alright, so first a little bit of groundwork. See, I think we in the poi world sometimes get just a little bit too obsessed with our tricks, and specifically the difficulty level of them. Absolutely, more difficult tricks can get you a lot of respect when you show them off. But that doesn't mean that they are the only option when it comes to writing choreography. And whether working with beginner, intermediate, advanced, or pie-in-the-sky tricks, the same principles apply for putting together a really satisfying piece of choreography. So to give you an example of this in action, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite pieces of choreography that I have ever written. I came up with it a few months ago, and it centers entirely about building up to one poi trick, the windmill. So first and foremost, here's the choreography itself, and then I'll explain why it works. So regardless of the skill level of the tricks that you're working with, what really matters is the structure of the choreography that you build around them. And one of the devices that I use in this piece of choreography is something called the rule of threes, which I guarantee you're familiar with even if you don't recognize the name. The rule of threes is actually operating in most jokes you've ever heard. So for example, a priest walks into a bar, takes a shot from the bartender, sits down and prays for him. Then a monk walks in, takes a shot from the bartender, sits down and prays for him. Then a rabbit walks into the bar, says to the bartender, "I'm pretty sure that I'm a typo." See how I've created a setup with two examples that are very similar, and then I twist the concept on its head with the last one? That is the rule of threes in action. This is an effective storytelling device because it plays with the audience's expectations, and it introduces some level of novelty into the structure. It's excellent for keeping people's attention. So by my count, I use the rule of threes 3 separate times in the course of this combo. So let's examine exactly how it works and how I use it. We start off by doing these little loops over my shoulders, going to stage right and stage left, stalling the poi each time. I have created a theme and I'm going to tweak it just slightly on this next repetition. As I go over to stage right, rather than stalling both poi, I keep the one on my left hand spinning. It's not much of a change, but it's enough novelty to keep the audience engaged. From here, I do a big extension with my left hand, bring it back, and then do a little loop over my left shoulder. Now the extension and the loop are slightly different, but the overall theme is that my right hand is staying still and my left hand is exploring both little circles as well as big circles. So that on the final repetition, when I get the right hand engaged and going up into a windmill, it reads as a massive spike in novelty, and more than that, what the combo was building to the entire time. Finally, I do 1, 2 reps of a big windmill, 1, 2 of a small windmill, and then switch to the Archer fountain. We already know that the windmill was what I was working up to, so I show 2 different variations on it, and then finish out with 1 little added bit of spice in order to bring the audience in for a landing. Awesome. And you may have noticed that I use the end of one section of a rule of 3 as the beginning of another section of a rule of 3. So I can gradually build the audience's anticipation and add just a little bit more interest every step of the way. But that's not the only thing going on under the hood here. Another helpful tool we have for arranging our poi choreography is using changes in pacing to both build anticipation as well as release energy as well. So let me unpack something about our example combo that may not be obvious at first. Namely, as I'm going across the first section from stage left to stage right, I take a full 4 count to get there, another 4 count to change focus at the audience, and then come back. When I go back to stage left, I take the 4 count to go, and then immediately come back. In other words, the second section takes half as long as the first one. And then, when I switch to the final one, I don't even complete the full set of stalls. In other words, I've compressed the timeline to rush the audience towards a conclusion. And in the section with the extensions, I do exactly the opposite. Namely, I do my extension, pause, I do my loop and pause, and there's an extended part in the music here where things get stretched out a little before finally arriving in the windmill. It builds more anticipation because I'm stretching out the timeline in order to get there. And then finally, when we do get into the windmills, going big twice, I then go small on the latter set. This speeds the windmills up. And again, it adds a little bit of urgency. So, by both compressing as well as stretching out different parts of the choreography, I can both build the audience's anticipation for the next part, as well as leave them in suspense so that when we finally get to the payoff, oh my goodness, does it feel good to get there. The final structural device that I want to take you all through here is called foreshadowing. And what it is introducing elements that are later going to pay off in the thing at the climax that you are guiding your audience to the whole time. Let me show you how. So our example combo is all about just one thing, the windmill, and getting the audience to the windmill and making it feel like a big deal. So how exactly do we do this? Well, I introduce several elements of the windmill along the way so that when all those elements come together, it feels like a catharsis. First and foremost, as I'm taking these loops over my shoulders, it introduces the element of shoulder reels. That is the poi going back and forth in front of and behind our shoulders, which of course is core to windmills. Next, I play around with both extensions as well as producing a small loop over my shoulder with just one hand at a time. This introduces the element of volume as well as keeping the movement of the poi continuous. Remember, we start off doing stalls as we're going back and forth here. So introducing the idea that the poi can just keep on moving is adding another layer to it. Finally, when we bring both of the poi into it, all these elements coalesce together. We see both of the poi working, we see both of them performing loops over my shoulders and eating up a lot of volume in the process. And the cherry on top is switching into these small windmills, the classic presentation of them to really bring the whole thing home. See, in all of these cases, what I'm doing is I'm introducing incomplete aspects of the windmill and introducing them in such a way that it is clear that they are incomplete. And in that way, when all the elements meld together, it feels like a payoff for the audience. So I want you to take these elements and have them inform your choreography. If you use devices like this to structure your choreography, it will be satisfying regardless of the skill level of the tricks involved. And pretty please, as you're exploring these elements in your own choreography, do make sure to post the results and tag me. I am at DrexFactor on all platforms, and I would love to see your wonderful work. Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to help other people find this video, as well as to help my channel grow. Thanks. This video would not be possible without my amazing supporters on Patreon. In particular, I'd love to give a shout out to my Flow patrons who are listed on screen right now. Thank you all so much. You rock. And if you would like to get your name in the credits or access to any of a host of other rewards, such as being able to suggest videos to me, such as the one you just watched, this was actually a Patreon requested video, you can head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. The link is included down in the description as well as up in the cards. Go check that out, please and thank you. And if you would like to learn more about choreographing techniques such as blocking, I'll go ahead and include a link to a video I've done on that topic right here. I'll also include the link down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow to yourselves today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Take care now. Peace.